Mataji, if you don't mind, can you give me like a co-host? I may want to share some screen.
Yes, Mataji, yes. Hare Krishna, welcome everybody to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Sukha Sagari Mataji to enlighten us on topic Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Antya Leela 1.146 verse onwards. Hare Krishna, Sukha Sagari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much Mataji for joining and giving your valuable time and association this morning. Please take over the call Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. I thank the organizers from the bottom of my heart to give me this opportunity to glorify Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, though I'm utterly unqualified to do it, but purely by the mercy of the devotees, I'm just trying to make a humble attempt to just share what I prepared in the last few hours. I think I just got a message from Preeti Mataji around 12 noon yesterday, and so please forgive me if my preparation is not up to the mark. I'll just share what I could do. I think yesterday. Yeah, I'll just start with the verses and then the Manglacharan and then the class. अकारुण्य कृष्णो यदि मयि तवागः कथमिदं मूढा मारोदिर्मे कुरु परम् इमामुत्तरकृतिं तमालस्य स्कन्धे विनिहता भुजवल्लरीरियं यथा वृन्दारण्ये चिरम् अविचला तिष्ठति तनुः. Translation. Srimati Radharani said to her constant companion Vishakha, "My dear friend, if Krishna is unkind to me, there will be no need for you to cry, for it will not be due to any fault of yours. I shall then have to die, but afterwards please do one thing for me. To observe my funeral ceremony, place my body with its arms, embracing a thamala tree like creepers, so that I may remain forever in Vrindavan undisturbed. This is my last request." This verse is Vidagdha Madhava 2.47. राय कहे कहा देखी भावे रे स्वभावा रूपा कहे आय चाहया कृष्ण विषय का भावा. Ramananda Rai inquired, "What are the characteristics of emotional love?" Rupa Goswami replied, "This is the nature of emotional love for Krishna." पीडाभिर्नवकालकूटकटुटा गर्वस्य निर्वासनो निष्यन्देन मुदां सुधा मधुरिमा अहङ्कार संकोचनः प्रेमा सुन्दरी नन्दनन्दन परो जागर्ति यस्यान्तरे ज्ञायन्ते स्फुतमस्य वक्रमधुरा तेनैव विक्रान्तयः. Translation. My dear beautiful friend, if one develops love of Godhead, love of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaja, all the bitter and sweet influences of this love will manifest in one's heart. Such love of Godhead acts in two ways. The poisonous effects of love of Godhead defeat the severe and fresh poison of the serpent. Yet there is simultaneously transcendental bliss, which pours down and defeats the poisonous effects of a snake, as well as the happiness derived from pouring nectar on one's head. It is perceived as doubly effective, simultaneously poisonous, and nectarian. This verse is from the Vidagdha Madhava 2.18. It also appears in the Madhya Leela, chapter 2, verse 52. It is spoken by Purnamasi. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते गिरिराजस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I just read out 3 verses, 146 through 148. And as we can see in the verse 146, there is a reference made to the Vidagdha Madhava, verse 2.47. And in verse 148, there is a reference made to Vidagdha Madhava 2.18. So all over this chapter in the past few sessions, we've been seeing that these verses of Vidagdha Madhava have been sprinkled here and there to give us an understanding of what the play or the drama is about. But they're not in a particular sequential order. So I just thought, it would be nice to go through the sequence of events in the drama so we could kind of get a context to where this verse appears and why it appears. So to that effect, uh, effect, I thought I'll just start with a brief introduction to the Vidagdha Madhava. I'm going to stop my screen share now because I want to refer my notes. Yeah. So this synopsis or this the material which I derived from is the book is translated by His Grace Kushakrita Das, and it was edited by Purna Prajna Prabhuji. And also I refer to Bhanuswami Maharaj's Vidagdha Madhava translation for a few of my notes. So we see that in the Chaitanya Charitamrta, when Rupa Goswami, he actually met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag. If we recall in the Madhya Leela, we have seen that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on his way to Vrindavan, he went through Varanasi and then to Prayag and then to Vrindavan. And on his way back, he stopped at Prayag again. So that was the time Rupa Goswami met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with his brother Anupma. And that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed him to write books on Vaishnava literature. And that's when he actually started writing these two dramas. He was writing a single drama. And later on, when he meets Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri, like now when we're seeing, he got this, we have seen that he had a dream in which he was asked to write a separate account of the pastimes of Lord Krishna. And also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also in the previous verses in this chapter we've seen tells him very clearly that the Krishna in Vrindavan is different from the Mathura Dwarka Krishna. So, you have to keep the pastimes or the drama separate, So when he got these two instructions, he kind of felt very assured, and he got the message that he needs to actually, the drama which he had written as one piece, he needs to make them into two. So that's when he starts to, divide his work into two. One is the Vidagdha Madhava and the other is the Lalita Madhava. So Vidagdha, basically, I'm sure all are aware, but I'm just trying to say what I thought would be relevant. So Vidagda means clever, like Krishna is very clever in how he actually, carries his pastimes with the gopis and other of his intimate associates. So this Vidagda Madhava actually shows how some kind of cleverness or trickery is actually used by Krishna to please the gopis. There is a different kind of rasa actually which is involved. So that's when Rupa Goswami, he first works on this Vidagdha Madhava, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually he empowers him to actually work on this drama himself. So he has the blessing of many senior devotees, which we have seen in the past few verses, and so that's how he's carrying out his work on Vidagdha Madhava. And he himself is an expert devotee, so nonetheless, he has the blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Vidagdha Madhava, this book was actually finished in the year 1454. That's 1532 AD. And this drama, it has 7 parts, or like the other word is called acts. Like acts is nothing but basically a group of scenes, in a drama. And scenes are just like, when a character appears and plays his role and gets out, of the scene, that's basically called a scene. So I mean, I don't want to get into the technical details of these things. I'm sure they've been discussed earlier. So this has 7 parts, and the first one is called 7 acts. The first act is called Venunada Vilasa, or pastimes of flute music. And most of the verses which we are going through here in Chaitanya Charitamrta, at least so far, and also a few verses ahead, we will see are derived from this Act 1 mainly, or Act 2 going up to the 47th or 48th verse. The Act 2 is Manmatha Lekha, or the love letter, as it is translated. Act 3 is Radha Sangha, the meeting with Radha. Act 4 is Venu Harana, theft of the flute. Act 5 is Radha Parasadhana, decorating Radha. Act 6 is Sharad Vihara, autumn pastimes. Act 7 is Gauri Tirtha Vihara. So there are 7 acts in this. And I would just, because most of the verses are from Act 1 and part of Act 2, I would just, glimpse into this just to get an idea of the context in which these verses are coming. Because like I said earlier too, they are not in chronological order in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But as we walk through the Vidagdha Madhava, I will give references to the verses which we have already covered, so we know where the context is derived from. Yeah. So I'll just start off with the actual play itself, the actual drama itself. So the narrator here is none other than Srila Rupa Goswami himself. And he describes the context, or he sets the scene for this drama by saying that Lord Shiva actually appeared to him in his dream, in the role of a devotee. And then he told Rupa Goswami that there is this nice place which is called Keshi Tirtha on the slope of Govardhan Hill. And there are a lot of advanced devotees, who spend their time in these groves of Vrindavan, and they're actually looking for more nectar of Krishna, And so at that time, he says that the mind of these devotees is full of love for Krishna, the son of Nanda. They are, he is as playful as a maddened cuckoo, and he is the original tutor of all flute masters. So in this way, he gives an introduction to how the minds of these advanced devotees are actually captured by Krishna's pastimes. They're always, thinking about Krishna and relishing his pastimes. So he gives this idea, or he gives this instruction to Rupa Goswami in his dream, that he must, these people are kind of now rolling over the sands of Vrindavan in separation from Krishna. So you must write something, or you must give them some succor in the form of your play. and describe the pastimes of Krishna. So this is the backdrop of why, or the scene setting of the whole play here, which is happening. So at this point of time, I would, call a reference to two of the verses which are being quoted here. One is from Chaitanya Charitamrta, Antya 139. This is the Vidagdha Madhava 6b verse. I'll just read the translation. So, O learned devotees, I am by nature ignorant and low. Yet even though it is from me that the Vidagdha Madhava has come, it is filled with descriptions of the transcendental attributes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, will not such a literature bring about the attainment of the highest goal of life? Although its wood may be ignited by a low-class man, fire can nevertheless purify gold. Similarly, although I am very low by nature, this book may help cleanse the dirt from within the hearts of the golden devotees. So like I said, Lord Shiva says that a group of very advanced devotees have assembled there to actually relish the pastimes of Krishna. And they are longing for some, some nice pastime. So that's when he comes up with this play. So we can understand from this that this pastime or this play is actually meant for advanced devotees, like it's very clearly mentioned in the by the narrator, because very clearly it is mentioned in the narration that a group of advanced devotees had assembled to actually relish these pastimes of Krishna. So we have to tread a little carefully here. So after when Lord Shiva conveys this in his dream, Rupa Goswami, he takes a very humble position and he says that I'm very ignorant and low, but somehow I'm making this humble attempt to actually write this play about Lord Krishna's pastimes. And then I would also like to draw your attention to the other verse, which is Chaitanya Charitamrta 1.138. That also comes at the same point of time in the play when, Lord Shiva appeared in the dream of Rupa Goswami and he's instructing him to write the Chaitanya the Vidagdha Madhava, the play about Lord Krishna's pastime. So this is part of the narration of the play. Let's remember that. So in that, the verse number 1.8 from Vidagdha Madhava, or the CC reference is 1.138 appears. So in which the translation goes like this: the devotees now present are constantly thinking of the Supreme Lord and are therefore highly advanced. So why are they highly advanced? Because they are thinking of the Supreme Lord. This work named Vidagdha Madhava depicts the characteristic pastimes of Lord Krishna with decorations of poetic ornaments, and the inner grounds of the forest of Vrindavan provide a suitable platform for the dancing of Krishna with the gopis. Therefore, I think that the pious activities of persons like us who have tried to advance in devotional service have now attained maturity. So this verse is also taken from this first part of the narration of the play, where the scene is kind of set, for the play to happen. So like I also earlier mentioned, these devotees are longing for, some kind of, to hear more about Krishna, to learn more about his pastimes, how he spent his time, and, his, especially his pastimes with his most intimate devotees like the gopis and Srimati Radharani. So that's when he begins to write this. There's also another reference at the end of the narration to another verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrta, which is 1.136, which we have already seen. But I'm just trying to quote the verses where they appear in this drama so that we kind of get an idea of what is the context of these verses we have been reading so far. So this is an CC 1.136, but this is also a part of the narration. This appears at almost towards the end of the narration, in which it is said, springtime had, the translation of this verse goes like this: springtime had arrived, and the full moon of that season inspired the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is complete in everything, with new attraction to meet the beautiful Srimati Radharani at night to increase the beauty of their pastimes. So this is how the scene is actually set. So this is all part of one narration, which is actually made by Rupa Goswami himself, as he says in the narration. And then we actually go to the scenes or the actual proceedings of the play. So the actors come on the stage. So now we have Paurnamasi and Nandimukhi in the scene. So Paurnamasi is given an introduction. She is the mother of Sandipani Muni. So Sandipa Muni, son is Madhumangala. We know who is Krishna's close associate. And Paurnamasi is actually having a conversation with her granddaughter, whose name is Nandimukhi. So Nandimukhi is the sister of Madhumangala, or the daughter of Sandipani Muni. So how Paurnamasi is being described is she is a white-haired old woman, and she is a disciple of Sri Narada Muni himself. So she's a very exalted, very advanced devotee, because we have seen all through Bhagavatam that Sri Narada Muni is not an ordinary guru. He was a guru for many, many stalwart devotees, as we have seen through the Bhagavatam. So Paurnamasi, being his disciple, is not an ordinary soul. And we also have seen and learned elsewhere that Paurnamasi is actually instrumental in arranging the pastimes of the loving affairs of Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna. So she's always on the lookout to arrange some kind of a meeting for Radharani and Krishna. So that is her main purpose of life. So at this point of time, Paurnamasi is just leaving Nanda Maharaja's house, and Nandimukhi is with her and she's walking out. So then she asks Nandimukhi, she asks Paurnamasi, why is Srimati Radharani actually hiding in Santanuvana instead of staying in Gokul? And then she says that actually Radharani's grandma, Mukhara, which we have also seen in another verse, but I will again try to link those verses to this drama as we go through. So Mukhara, actually, she had brought Radharani to Gokula to actually marry him off to Abhimanyu. So she says, how did you allow this to happen when Srimati Radharani, she cannot think of anybody other than Krishna? Isn't this a wrong thing to get him married off to Abhimanyu? So Paurnamasi, she says that I'm not worried at all, I'm not worried about this. And then she says that Kamsa, somehow he had got news that there is this beautiful girl, Srimati Radharani. And in an attempt to protect her, actually this thing happened, that there was this marriage arranged with Abhimanyu, so that Kamsa knows that Srimati Radharani is already married and she can be safe, like that. So she says, I'm not worried. So then then Nandimukhi says, if Radharani was in Gokul, it would have been easier to arrange this meeting pastime of Lord Krishna and Radharani. But she is hiding. But she's in hiding. But then she again, after a few conversations, she says, now it's good that Srimati Radharani is back in Gokul, and we can arrange the meeting of, Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. And then Nandimukhi, she asks Paurnamasi that how come she has so much of devotion towards Radha and Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna. So Paurnamasi replies that it is purely because of the grace of her exalted spiritual master, Narada Muni, that she has this level of devotion towards Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani, that she's always on the lookout to arrange for some kind of a meeting between Srimati Radharani and Krishna. So at this point of time, Nandimukhi is, she's like, Madhu Mangal, my brother, is a close associate of Krishna, but I'm not being engaged, in any such service for the service of the Lord. This is not fair. So I need some service, she tells her grandmother. So then Paurnamasi tells her that, why don't you go and instruct Vishakha to actually draw a portrait of Krishna, because she's a very good artist. So why don't you go and do that? So at this point of time, this scene ends here. So Nandimukhi goes off, to actually meet Vishakha and tell her to, tell her to make a portrait of Krishna. And at that point of time, this verse is quoted, the very famous Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye Karna Krodha Kadambini Gatayate Karnarbudebhyas Praham Cheta Prangana Sangini Vijayate Sarvendriyanam Kritim No Jane Janita Ki Adbhiramritaihi Krishneti Varnatvai. So at that time, when Nandimukhi actually asks Srimati, actually she asks Purnamasi for some service, towards Lord Krishna. At that time, Purnamasi advises her that why don't you, ask Vishaka to make a portrait of Lord Krishna and show it to Srimati Radharani, so that, Radharani can develop more feelings for Lord Krishna. At that time, Nandimukhi, she actually replies that I know she's already very much in love with Lord Krishna. And so then Purnamasi asks her, how do you know that she's already very much in love with Lord Krishna? She says that when Srimati Radharani, when she just hears the name of Lord Krishna, she has the symptoms of ecstasy. Actually, she exhibits the symptoms of ecstasy. So at that time, Purnamasi quotes the Sunde Tandavini verse and says how the two syllables Krishna, can actually induce so many feelings of ecstasy in advanced devotees who have actually understood the Lord, who are actually, are so much in devotional love with him. So at that time, this verse, this is Caitanya Caritamrta, Antya 1.99. This verse is being quoted in this context as a reply to Nandimukhi from Purnamasi. So there are some more details. So at this point of time, when Purnamasi and Nandimukhi are just leaving, what's happening is Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, and Balaram, Madhumangala, Sridham, and Lord Krishna and his other friends are actually leaving out from Gokul to Vrindavan to actually graze the cows over there. So he's actually being, like how any affectionate parent would do. Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya, they just don't, they don't want to say bye to Krishna so easily. So they actually walk with him, for some distance to see him off, because they don't want to get, get separated from Krishna, even though he has to go and, take the cows for grazing, but they don't want to leave Krishna even for a minute. So like how generally parents do, like, when they're seeing off their kid or something, they walk and wait until the last moment. The child says a bye until the turn of the street where the car disappears or something like that. So similarly, Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya were actually accompanying all these gopas and Lord Krishna, to some part of the way, on their way to Vrindavan to actually graze the cows. So at that time, Purnamasi, she actually speaks this verse number 1.17, and it is the Chaitanya Charitamrita reference is 165. This is going to come much later than my talk today. So I'm not quoting the verse per se here, but please remember that this verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita 165, it actually appears at this point of time when Lord Krishna is actually going out for grazing from Gokula to Vrindavan. So so then what happens is at this point of time, Krishna sees that, his parents are accompanying him, and he actually, what happens is Krishna goes to the forest to meet with the gopis too, to the Vrindavan. So somehow, he wants to tell his parents like, okay, you've accompanied me enough. Now I would go, I'm good by myself. I'll take the cows for grazing. So at this point of time, Madhumangala, he actually blurts out that Yashoda Maya, the actual truth is that Krishna wants to go and meet the gopis there in the forest. So, Krishna is kind of embarrassed, and he wants to stop his friend Madhumangla by, from telling all these details, about his meetings with the gopis to his parents. So he kind of gives him like a glance and, makes him understand that he shouldn't be saying such things. So at that time, Madhumangla actually, he diverts the matter and says that actually Krishna is going to, spend time with the cows and his Gopa friends there. So that's why I'll take care of Krishna, so you don't have to worry, you both can go back home. So Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya, they say okay, and they go back to Gokul. So once now they enter this forest of Vrindavana, the beautiful scenery is described there. All how the birds are, enchanted. They're all attracted to Krishna, and how there are beautiful creepers, and so many descriptions about the beauty of this Vrindavan forest is actually described here. And in particular, there are actually some words or verses spoken by Balarama, Madhumangala, and Krishna, and the references to these are from Chaitanya Charitamrta 158 through 160, and then 164. These are not covered as part of today's class, but I just thought I will give the context. So when they just enter the Vrindavan forest, so it's amazingly beautiful, the Vrindavan forest. So some of these verses are spoken by Balarama, one is by Madhumangala, and a couple of them by Krishna, like that. So about describing the beauty of the Vrindavan forest. So then after admiring the beauty of the Vrindavan forest, Krishna actually starts playing his flute there. And needless to say, his flute sound is so intoxicating. We've also seen in previous earlier verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita that he plays the pa note on his flute, and like His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu explained the other day, it evokes feelings of this, love for Krishna, this pa note. So it is very special, the sound of Krishna's flute. So all the animals, the creepers, everybody is actually swaying to the tunes of Krishna's flute. At that time, what happened? There is also a sound from the sky, which praises this flute sound of Krishna. And then Balarama says, look how Narada is enjoying, he's already always enjoying and and singing the glories of Krishna transcendentally traveling in the clouds. And at this point of time, so Balarama is looking up to the sky and saying this. At this point of time, Madhumangala is like, what? You don't see? Let's flee from here. So Balarama is like, what are you talking about? Why should we flee from here? And then he says, don't you see? There is a four-headed yaksha coming towards us. He's riding on a swan, and he's accompanied by a naked ghost who holds on to a serpent like this. So he gets kind of scared. And then there is a Danava whose body is covered with eyes, and he's followed by a horde of demons. So this is some demon coming to attack us. Let's all go back. Let's all go back. So any guesses, anybody, who they are referring to here? A four-headed yaksha?
Brahma, Shiva, and Indra.
Awesome. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So actually he doesn't know this. So Balarama says, oh, you foolish boy. This is actually, Brahma, like how Priti Mataji said, Brahma, Shiva, and Indra are actually coming. These are not demons. They are also so attracted to the flute sound of Krishna. So they're making an appearance there. So then, Madhumangala, he doesn't want to show himself as foolish. So he's like, I know, I was just testing you guys. I'm the most intelligent here, and I was just joking with you all. And so I know that these are the, demigods who are actually here to enjoy Lord Krishna's flute. So this way they have some fun in the forest. And then, so Krishna says that, how beautiful the Vrindavan forest is. So Madhumangala, then he says that actually the forest scares me very much. I'm very scared of this Vrindavan forest. I would anyway, any day, I like the offerings which Mother Yashoda makes and the Brahmana wives make for us, the sweet laddus and the sweet meats. I'm very happy with them. I really am not too fond of this Vrindavan forest. So at that time, he says it would be so nice, to have some laddus or something like that, because Madhumangla is fond of eating like that. So then Lord Krishna says, don't worry, just pray to the creepers in this Vrindavan forest and they will, fulfill your wish. So at that time, what happens? Guess who enters? Purnamasi, actually I forgot to tell this before. So Purnamasi, when she's talking to Nandimukhi earlier, she asked her to, go and advise Vishakha to make a portrait of Lord Krishna. And she says that she's going to make some sweet meat preparations to actually go and meet the Gopas and Lord Krishna. So now when Krishna tells Madhumangla that you can just, pray to these creepers in this Vrindavan forest, they will make your wish come true. Purnamasi appears there with a, plate of laddus there. So then Balarama says, so look, somebody's wish is fulfilled and we have this old creeper here. So we should not take this word of Balarama in any other sense, but it is described elsewhere in Vidagdha Madhava that, these gopis who help Radha and Krishna, Srimati Radharani and Krishna in their pastimes, are actually compared to creepers. And Lord Krishna is the bee, actually, the bumblebee. And Srimati Radharani is the lotus flower. So these gopis are compared to creepers in that sense. So Balarama says, see the generosity of this ancient creeper, and he's referring to Purnamasi, who's come there with the plate of laddus there. So at that point, Purnamasi, she wants to somehow make Krishna hear the names of Srimati Radharani. Just like how Srimati Radharani, she evokes symptoms of ecstasy just by hearing the name of Lord Krishna. Purnamasi wanted to somehow make Krishna hear the name of Srimati Radharani. So when Balarama says that, look, see the generosity of this ancient creeper, she diverts the matter and she says, so are you referring to Mukhara and her, how she and her granddaughter have come here? So then Krishna is like, who is this granddaughter of Mukhara? What is her name? So immediately, Purnamasi takes this opportunity and she says Radha. So immediately, as soon as she says Radha, Krishna gets all this, his hair stand on his hand and he gets the symptoms of ecstasy in him. So Purnamasi notices that, Krishna is exhibiting this symptom as soon as the name Radha is, announced by Purnamasi. So she somehow tries to bring in Radha's name in the conversation by taking this pretext. So, but, Krishna is kind of embarrassed to show his ecstasy symptoms, to everybody. His friends are there, his elder brother is there, everybody is there. So, so he says that, Purnamasi says that, the gopis will be coming here in some time. They're making a big arrangement for a festival. So they'll be coming here to pluck some nice flowers and all to make garlands and things like that. So at this time, you can take the opportunity because all the gopis will be coming here to make the arrangements. Their houses will be, and there'll be nobody guarding their houses. So you gopas can go and happily steal all the butter and eat all you want. So she gives this kind of an idea. So at that time, Lord Krishna, he kind of says, how dare the gopis come and pluck all the flowers from Vrindavan? When they're plucking the flowers, they're also plucking the twigs and branches by mistake. And they're ruining the beauty of this Vrindavan forest. This is not right. I'm going to complain. Why are they, ruining the beauty of this Vrindavan forest? So, yeah, so he says like that. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to see what I can. Yeah, so at this point, Purnamasi says, okay, and then, she just leaves the scene there. And actually, Lord Krishna is lost in the thoughts of Srimati Radharani. When he hears this name of Radharani from Purnamasi, he's actually lost in his thoughts. At this point of time, he just says, tells Balarama, it's already midday, so just take the cows to the Yamuna, and so that they can drink some water. And he says he wants to rest with his dear friends Sri Rama and Subala. So he sends Madhumangal and Balarama away, and he's resting with Sri Rama and Subala. At that time, he asks Sri Rama, so do you know Radharani? So Sri Rama actually gives a smile, because Radharani is his sister and he knows how she is. So he actually gives a smile. So we can see that Lord Krishna is always thinking about Srimati Radharani as soon as he heard uh, this name of Srimati Radharani. So at this point of time, he sees that uh, uh, Lalita Sakhi, actually enters the grove with Radharani there. And when as Purnamasi is actually exiting. So at this point, Purnamasi is thinking, how come, what are these two little girls? Radharani was very young at that time. So what are these two little girls doing in this forest at this time? Lord Krishna is also there in the other part of the grove. And what are these two girls doing? So she actually hides herself to see what these two girls are talking about. So at that point of time, Srimati Radharani sees a banyan tree, and Lalita Sakhi, she explains to Srimati Radharani that this is the banyan tree under which Lord Krishna, he performed so many pastimes, and like that, she gives a lot of references to where Krishna has done so many activities, like. So as soon as she hears this, Radharani goes into more ecstasy, when she's hearing all these descriptions of this pastimes of Lord Krishna from Lalita Sakhi. She actually goes into more ecstasy. And then they hear this flute sound of Krishna. So when she hears the flute sound of Krishna, it actually becomes very painful for her. Like her emotions, like, because she's the epitome of Mahabhava. So her emotions, they they reach a peak and they heighten up. And so it is actually very, very painful for her. And she tells Lalita Sakhi that I have to go and get some medicine for this. This this pain in my heart is unbearable, because this is actually the pang of separation she's feeling from Lord Krishna. And she says that this pain is so unbearable for me, I need to get some medicine. So at that time, Vishakha, she actually walks in with this portrait of Lord Krishna, and then she takes her away, and she says, come with me, I have the best medicine for you. When you see this, all your pain will disappear. So at this scene, the scene ends. So Vishakha and Srimati Radharani, they exit this thing, and then it moves on to the second act actually here, which is called the love letter, the Manmatha Lekha. So Nandimukhi is actually, before this, there is some more part actually here. I'm not sure in my notes, for some reason it's not appearing, but I'll just continue with what is there though. Okay, so at this point, what actually happens is that what actually happens is that Nandimukhi, she goes to Purnamasi and says that Purnamasi actually has ordered Nandimukhi to go and meet Mukhara, that is Radharani's grandmother, because Radharani is actually in a lot of pain, this pain of separation she's feeling from Krishna. So she says, Nandimukhi, to go and inquire what is actually wrong with Radharani. Why is she having so much of pain? Why is she feeling so ill? And why is she kind of sick? So at that time, Nandimukhi goes to Mukhara's house, and there she asks, why is, but then when she's actually going to Mukhara's house, she sees Mukhara is actually coming towards her house. so to meet Purnamasi. And then Mukhara says, I'm ruined, I'm so unfortunate, and then Nandimukhi asks, why are you crying so much? What is so wrong? So at this point, Mukhara says that my child Radha is suffering so much. She is, behaving like as though she's gone mad, and she's speaking incoherently, like, so many words which I'm not able to understand. Like, for example, like this one sentence, she says, it is not proper for my garland to be blackened by these cruel bumblebees. I'm only a young girl. So then, like this, she's saying so many things, which are kind of incoherent. I don't know if some ghost has got into her or something has, happened. But Nandimukhi, she knows that, she understands that this is not, some kind of a ghost or some illness. It is actually the pang of separation which Srimati Radharani is actually facing from Krishna. So she thinks to herself that though, apparently it looks like that, but she kind of knows the reason that this is nothing else but a manifestation of the love of, Radharani for Krishna. So Mukhara at that point, she says that, okay, I'll go and describe the situation to Purnamasi. Maybe, Purnamasi will help me out and give me a solution how to solve this. And then she tells this Nandimukhi that go see what is happening to Radharani. She is so sick. Go see. Go to the grove of the Vetasi trees and see Radharani's activities. So at this point, I just want to take you to that point where in the beginning of these verses we had read some reference to the Vetasi trees and the Reva river and things like that. And at this point of time, Rupa Goswami, he actually composed 2 verses, for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the senior devotees there, they're kind of surprised how he knew the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually wanted to go back to this particular point of time, and that's when Rupa Goswami penned this drama. So from keeping these references in mind, we can see that this is actually a pastime of Krishna which has taken place, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always attracted to this pastime, and that's why Rupa Goswami, he understood the mind of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he comes up with those 2 verses where there is a reference, to the Vetasi trees and the Reva river, if we recall from the earlier verses of the Chaitanya Caritamrta. So I just thought I will, put that in context. So that's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind is always, he's always in the trying to relish the pastimes of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani in the mood of a devotee there. So that's where he wanted to be, and that's where, that's how Rupa Goswami actually understood Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind, So that is the reference why the advanced devotees were very surprised. How come Rupa understood the mind like that? So that's when he wrote this drama, and this is actually something which has happened. So at that time, when Nandimukhi, she actually goes to the grove of the Vetasi trees to see how, Radharani and, is doing, because she's heard from Mukhara, her grandmother, that she's kind of sick. So at this time, Radharani is very upset with Vishakha, because Vishakha actually brings Radharani saying that I have a remedy for you. Why don't you see this picture of Krishna, and it will cure you of your sickness. But then what happens? On the contrary, Radharani gets even more sick. So she's kind of very upset with Vishakha that, she misled her. So, she tells some words, as she's her close friend, close associate. So she tells some words in, a lot of contempt and indignantly, like, she's very upset with Vishakha, and she says, why did you do this to me? You gave me this picture of Krishna, now it's getting all the more worse, like that at that time. So she's actually, Vishakha then says that, we are your close associates, so share with us what you're actually feeling. So at that point of time, Srimati Radharani, she says that actually this boy Krishna, he came out of the picture, and then we did so many things, and now suddenly he disappeared, and I'm in so much of feeling so much separation from him. My heart is totally broken. I just don't know what to do. And then she expresses this confusion in her mind. She is like so confused, and she's crying. At this point of time, this is the point where where this verse Chaitanya Charitamrta Antya 1.142 appears. Actually, this is actually 2.9 from the Vidagdha Madhava, and which goes like this: experiencing previous attachment to Krishna, Purva Raga, Srimati Radharani thought, since I have heard the name of a person called Krishna, I have practically lost my good sense. Then there is another person who plays his flute in such a way. After I hear the vibration, intense madness arises in my heart. And again, there is still another person to whom my mind becomes attached when I see his beautiful lightning like effulgence in his picture. Therefore, I think that I am greatly condemned, for I have become simultaneously attached to three persons. It would be better for me to die because of this. So at this point of time, Radharani is thinking that she is actually in love with three different persons. One is the person whose name is Krishna. The other one is the person who she has seen in the picture, which Vishakha Sakhi gave her, and the other is the person who plays the flute. So she is like cursing herself literally. I'm such an unchaste girl. I'm giving my heart away to three men at the same time, like that. She is lamenting in that mood, and she's feeling very bad that how could she do this, how could she do that. So at this time, Lalita, she actually laughs, and then she explains to her that this is the one and the same person, Lord Krishna. So you don't worry, and you don't worry about this, and lose your sleep over it. Actually, this is Lord Krishna himself. He is called Krishna, and he plays the flute, and he is also in the picture. The same personality is in the picture. So at this time, Radharani, she actually faces, she is kind of relieved that, okay, it's not like three different persons, it's the same person, like that. So at this point of time, when Nandimukhi actually walks in at this point of time to the Vetasi grove, and then she sees that Radharani appears to be quite fine. She doesn't appear to be sick at all, so something, maybe she's hiding her emotions or something like that. So at this, so she somehow wants to find, that Radharani is in ecstasy because of hearing about Krishna, hearing his flute and seeing the picture like that. So somehow she wants to derive that, she wants to make sure that, she's feeling that symptoms of ecstasy. So then she says that, okay, if she's fine and if she's not having anything, she's not sick, but why are Radharani's hair standing on her hand, on the end? So then Vishakha says, oh no, it's because of the southern wind, So Radharani is feeling a little cold, so that's why her hair is standing. So at that point, Nandimukhi says, what do you mean the southern wind? We are all standing here. Our hairs are not standing on the end. How come Srimati Radharani's hair alone is standing on end? So don't give me the stories. I know that she's, lost in love of Krishna, like that. She smiles of happily, and she wants to convey this news to Purnamasi, because Purnamasi and Nandimukhi are now in it together to actually make the meeting of Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna very more pleasurable. So they derive a lot of pleasure, when Radharani and Krishna, they experience these symptoms. And meanwhile, what happens is Mukhara, she meets with Purnamasi, and Purnamasi asks, what is wrong with Srimati Radharani? She goes off to meet after talking to Nandimukhi. So at that point, this verse from Antya Leela 1.145, which is Vidagdha Madhava 2.15 is quoted, this, which was done yesterday, which was covered yesterday. I don't want to go through the Sanskrit, just the translation. Upon seeing peacock feathers in front of her, this girl suddenly begins trembling. When she sometimes sees a necklace of gunja conch shells, small conch shells, she sheds tears and cries loudly. I do not know what kind of new ecstatic influence has entered the heart of this poor girl. It has imbued her with the dancing attitude of a player, creating wonderful, unprecedented dances on a stage. So, this is how Mukhara is actually describing the symptoms of Srimati Radharani. So, so she's worried, like I said earlier, that, she's very worried that some ghost has gotten into her granddaughter or something, and she's behaving very funny. So she goes and asks this, asks for a solution to Purnamasi. And Purnamasi just cleverly, she says that, oh, it is because, Kamsa and his demons have made a ghost enter into Srimati Radharani. And then she adds on, saying that the only remedy for this is to have a glimpse of Lord Krishna, somehow make them meet like that. So then Mukhara says, Jatila will get angry, but if she comes to know of this. So Purnamasi says, don't worry, I'll take care of that. So Purnamasi, she goes and she goes to meet Srimati Radharani, and she sees that, Srimati Radharani is very much, separation, experiencing this pangs of separation from Krishna, and she sees like so many different symptoms. She tries to jokingly question her, and try to find out how she's feeling and things like that. And that is the point when she finds out that Srimati Radharani is actually experiencing these classic symptoms of love for Lord Krishna. That is the point where this verse, Antya Leela 1.148, which I read today, the third verse I read today, appears in this context, in the drama. So in this, the translation, again, I will repeat it. My dear beautiful friend, if one develops love of Godhead, love of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaja, all the bitter and sweet influences of this love will manifest in one's heart. Such love of Godhead acts in two ways. The poisonous effects of love of Godhead defeat the severe and fresh poison of the serpent. Yet there is simultaneously transcendental bliss which pours down and defeats the poisonous effects of a snake, as well as the happiness derived from pouring nectar on one's head. It is perceived as doubly effective, simultaneously poisonous and nectarian. So elsewhere in this Vidagdha Madhava, Radharani, she actually makes some reference to Krishna, like how, a snake has actually bitten her, like that. So we can understand from this that, Krishna actually, he gives this, as much as the love he showers, he's also, the devotee also experiences this pangs of separation from Krishna. So it is kind of having two facets, the special intimate love which Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna share. It has two effects as it is described by Purnamasi here. She is explaining this verse to Nandimukhi, and this is the context where it actually appears when Purnamasi goes to meet Radharani. So at this point of time, she actually asks Radharani to write a letter to Lord Krishna, to explain her feelings. Mataji's, actually, this may take a few more minutes. What should I do?
I would love you to continue, please. Please
continue.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mataji. I just wanted to get your permission. So, so at this point, Purnamasi tells Radharani to write a letter to Lord Krishna. And then now there is a change of scene, So Madhumangala, you remember, right? Earlier, Krishna sends away Madhumangala and Balarama, and then he's sitting with his friends Sridama and Subala there in the forest and resting there. So Madhumangala, he comes now into, this is a change of the scene. Now we're transferred to the part where Madhumangala is meeting with Lord Krishna. And he sees that Lord Krishna is kind of very sad, he's lost in thoughts of Srimati Radharani, because earlier we remember, right, Purnamasi comes and says Radha, Radha, like that. So he has heard Radharani's name, and this has evoked symptoms of ecstasy, and he's lost in thoughts of Radharani. Like there's a lot of descriptions given in it. I'm not going to go into the details of those descriptions. So he's thinking how would Radharani look? What would she do? And like so many things like that. So Madhumangala, actually he sees that Lord Krishna is very sad and kind of lost, in this. And at that time, what happens, Lalita and Vishakha, they come by and they give this letter which Srimati Radharani has written for Krishna. And she gives this letter to Krishna. So Krishna actually gives the letter to Madhumangala and says, why don't you read it aloud? The letter, it will be sweet coming from you, like that. So at this point of time, this is what the letter contains. And this is the verse 1.144 from Chaitanya Charitamrta, okay, which reads as follows. Oh, dearly beautiful one, the artistic loveliness of your picture is now impressed within my mind. Since you are now living with my mind, wherever I wish to run, because I'm agitated by impressions of you, I find that you, oh my friend, are blocking my way. So this is the letter which Srimati Radharani has written for Lord Krishna, and this is the letter they come and give Lord Krishna when he's in the forest. And like it was said in the purport, this was written in the Prakrit language, and Madhumangala actually reads this out. So as Madhumangala is reading it, Lord Krishna wants to listen to it again, So he's like, why didn't you read it again? I don't quite understand it, So Madhumangala again reads this letter to Krishna. But now Krishna, he's the clever guy, right? He's trying to tease Radharani. So what he says is, look at this, these gopis, they don't appear to be chaste girls at all. She's writing a love letter, in spite of the fact that she's being married. This is very bad. I'm going to complain to all the elders, in Gokula, that this is really becoming bad. These gopis are not being faithful to their husbands and they're writing love letters. Chichi, this is very bad. And Madhumangala, he joins him and saying that, oh, we should chase these gopis away. What are they doing? This is bad thing. So at this point, Lalita, she gets very upset, because Radharani has sent so much of love in the letter for Lord Krishna. So she gets very upset and she starts crying over there, At that point of time, this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrta, Antya 1.154 is quoted, which will come later. I've not covered that verse today, but I'm just giving a reference to where this was quoted. So at that point of time, Lalita Sakhi gets very upset. And then she says this, our hearts are so polluted by miserable conditions that we are certainly going to go to Pluto's kingdom. Nevertheless, Krishna does not give up his beautiful loving smile, which is full of cheating tricks. Oh Srimati Radharani, you are very intelligent. How could you have developed such great loving affection for this deceitful debauchee from the neighborhood of the cowherds? So she says aloud these words, and Krishna is actually listening to it, and Madhumangala is actually listening to it, and they're like smiling, because Krishna knows he's teasing Radharani like that. So at this point of time, Vishakha also knows, but Lalita Sakhi is crying. So Vishakha knows, and she wants to test Krishna that if he's really, attracted to Radharani. So what she does, she has this gunja flowers garland, the necklace, and she gives it to Lord Krishna. So as soon as Lord Krishna wears, you can see his hairs on his body, they go, they stand straight. So then Lord Krishna, he wants to hide his feelings. So he immediately removes the garland and gives it back to Vishakha and says that, I don't want this Gunja garland, I don't want this. So, but meantime, Vishakha Sakhi notices that he is having this transcendental symptoms of ecstasy. And so she's kind of happy in her heart. But Lalita Sakhi is crying over there, So then Lalita Sakhi, what she does, she gives the Gunja necklace to Vishakha and tells that, okay, you go and give this to Srimati Radharani. Let me go and explain what happened here, how Krishna behaved, so badly here. Let me go and explain to Parnamasi. So now after they both exit the scene like that. So now after they both exit, Madhumangal asks Krishna, why did you behave so badly? Radharani had written a letter with so much of love for you. Why did you have to insult them like that they're not chaste and things like that? So Lord Krishna says, yes, I know, I did something wrong, and this may, drive Radharani to even end up her life, like she may feel very ignored and neglected. I don't know what's going to happen. So, I have to make amends. And then they both decide that Krishna should write a letter to Srimati Radharani. So at this point of time, they're actually looking for, those days the letter, they want to write the letter with some very nice, fragrant flower juice, So they make juice of the flower and write the letter. So they are searching for some nice flower, which has a good reddish tinge and which gives nice fragrance to write the letter. So like that, say they go into the forest and looking for some flowers to make a juice and write a letter to Srimati Radharani. So at this point of time is when the verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita 151 appears, where Krishna says, upon hearing of my cruelty, moon-faced Radharani may establish some kind of tolerance in her aggrieved heart, but then she might turn against me, or indeed, being fearful of the lusty desires invoked by the bow of formidable Cupid, she might even give up her life. Alas, I have foolishly uprooted the soft creeper of her desire, just when it was ready to bear fruit. So this is how Lord Krishna is regretting, when after he speaks kind of harshly to Lalita Sakhi and Vishakha Sakhi there. So this is the verse which comes later, but this is the actual point of time in the drama where it appears. Okay. So then they decide that the good flowers, they can be found in the Praskandana Tirtha. I don't have much information about this. So they could find and they could use it as an ink to write a letter to, to Srimati Radharani. So now the scene changes. At this point of time, we know that already Lalita Sakhi is gone to convey the news to Purnamasi and ask her what should be done next. And Vishakha has gone to convey this news with the Gunja garland to Srimati Radharani. So now Radharani and Vishakha Sakhi, they enter the stage. This is a change of a scene. And Vishakha is explaining like to Radharani, what all happened, how Krishna spoke, and what all had happened. At this point of time, the Chaitanya Charitamrita 152, the verse number 152 appears, which goes like this: desiring the happiness of his association and embraces, my dear friend, I disregarded even my superiors and relaxed my shyness and gravity before them. Furthermore, although you are my best friend, more dear to me than my own life, I have given you so much trouble. Indeed, I even put aside the vow of dedication to my husband, a vow kept by the most elevated woman. Oh, alas, although he is now neglecting me, I'm so sinful that I'm still living. Therefore, I must condemn my so-called patience. So Srimati Radharani, she is speaking this verse to her friend Vishakha, like I just said, they're entering this scene on the stage. So, and Vishakha is explaining what all has happened, what Krishna said and things like that. So Radharani is very sad now that Lord Krishna is neglecting him. But at the same time, she has this, what to say, emotions in her heart, even though Krishna is neglecting, she's not able to let go of the thoughts of Krishna. It's always giving her more pain, like she just cannot forget Krishna. She's always like, she's actually experiencing more pangs of separation as the more she thinks about it. So at this point of time, Vishakha Sakhi, what she does, she gives the Gunja garland, to Radharani and says, why don't you wear this now? And, and then Radharani is, as soon as she wears the garland, she kind of feels relieved because this garland is momentarily worn by Krishna, right? So now she gets some relief, from the garland she's worn, which actually was also worn by Krishna earlier. So, but again, after some time, she gets very upset, that Lord Krishna is ignoring her. And then, she thinks it's useless to live a life like that, so at this point of time, we know that both Lord Krishna and Madhumangal, they were walking towards the same Praskandana Tirtha, and Radharani also and Vishakha was also going towards the same place. So at that time, they overhear Vishakha and Radharani actually speaking. So Krishna says, quiet, let us listen to what, these both girls are speaking, these gopis are speaking. So at that point of time is where this verse 1.5, Chaitanya Charitamrita 1.153 appears, Radharani, she folds up her hand and looks up to the sky and she says, I was engaged in my own playful activities in my home, and because of my childish innocence, I did not know right from wrong. Therefore, is it good for you to have forced us into being so much attracted to you and then to have neglected us? Now you are indifferent to us. Do you think this is right? So this is when, this is 1.5, 153 will come later. But at this point of time, when Vishakha Sakhi and Radharani are walking into the groves, and Lord Krishna is on the other end coming to look for nice flowers to write a letter to Radha. That's the point of time when Krishna and Madhumangala overhear Srimati Radharani saying this. And then this is immediately followed by the next verse from Vidagdha Madhava, and but the Chaitanya Charitamrta reference is 1.146, the first verse I recited today from Chaitanya Charitamrta. So that's when Srimati Radharani, she says to her companion Vishakha that, my dear friend, if Krishna is unkind to me, there will be no need for you to cry, for it will not be due to any fault of yours. I shall then have to die. But afterwards, please do one thing for me, to observe my funeral ceremony. Place my body with its arms embracing a tamala tree like creepers, so that I may remain forever in Vrindavana undisturbed. That is my last request. So if we see, I have already covered 148 earlier, because that appears earlier in this drama. And this verse number 146 from Chaitanya Charitamrita is kind of the last verse from Vidagdha Madhava that I'm touching on today. So this is where it ends, like the class ends for today. And I didn't go, a few of the other verses, the references are from Act 3 and Act 5. So I have not gone that far. I just went up to this part, which covers my class. But I also gave references to the verses that come ahead, but which are part of this up to this point in the Vidagdha Madhava, that is 2.47. Up to that, what all verses are there in this chapter, I have kind of put it, mentioned it during the drama, that this appears here like that. So I would like to stop here, and if there are any questions, I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer anything. I don't know much really. I just read this play and I wanted to share. So if there are any questions or comments, I'll try my best. Or there are many other seniors on the call who can enlighten us better. So thank you so much, Mataji. It's all by your blessings that I'm able to speak something today. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It was so wonderful. It was so wonderful. Thank you so much for covering the entire story and putting things in perspective. Wonderful, Mataji. Excellent. I'm so glad you took up this study of the entire Vidagdha Madhava. I mean, at least till here, till the scene, so that we can relish this beautiful writing of Srila Rupa Goswami. So beautifully done, Mataji. Thank you so much for narrating all the incidents and you put the CC verses in place, and then you were trying to connect it to the story. It was so wonderful. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for the effort that you have taken. My questions are very silly, but I do have a couple of questions as you were talking. One is, of course, very nicely, you also connected the Vetasi tree. It's also here. That's so nice. And I was also wondering why Keshigat is so prominent. Like, of course, in Vrindavan, there are certain places that are very prominent, like the Govardhan Hill or the Radha Kund. But it appears that even Keshi Ghat seems to be very prominent for devotees to go and perform their bhajan. Like we see even in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the conversation between the Brahmana and Sarupa, all that happens in Keshi Ghat. So is there any specific, reference as to why it's so important, Keshi Ghat?
Yeah. There is some minimal reference given here that lot of Lord Krishna's and Radharani's pastimes also happened here in this ghat. That's what is mentioned in the Vidagdha Madhava. So that's why, these exalted personalities are there. They're rolling on the ground there, and, they want to experience more symptoms. That's how this, the introduction, which Kushakrita Prabhu has written, it starts off with that actually. that there are some very significant pastimes that have happened there.
Yeah. And also, just wondering, it's also the last demon that Krishna killed before he left Vrindavan, and I don't know if it has anything to do with separation, and I don't know. I was just asking.
Sorry, Mataji, what I'm sharing is what I've read. Apart from that, there could be several other reasons, but at this point of time, this is what I read, Mataji.
Perfect. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you. And the other thing I was wondering is that actually the Mukhara was actually hiding behind the tree, and she was hearing the conversation between Radha and Vishaka. Is that correct?
No, that is Paurnamasi.
Okay, then how did Mukhara know that Radharani was experiencing these, symptoms?
Okay, see, first time, this Radharani, actually she goes with Lalita Sakhi, right, to the forest. And then she hears the sound of Krishna's flute. This is like acting, this happens in the Act 1. So at that time, she hears the sound of flute. And then she's also heard about Krishna. Lalita Sakhi also explains to her in the forest that, see, this is the banyan tree where Krishna performed his pastime. So she keeps saying, who, she says, Krishna performed, Krishna. So here's the name Krishna. And also she hears the flute there, in this is the first act in that time. So she immediately she has those symptoms of ecstasy in her. And at this point of time, she, immediately she has this separation and all those things going on. And that time Vishaka enters, and then she says, I have a remedy for this. Come, I'll show you something. So she enters with that portrait which she has made for Krishna. And then she takes away Srimati Radharani and she shows the portrait. And at that time, she takes her away because Srimati Radharani is saying, I need some medicine, I'm falling sick. I'm feeling very sick. So that time they go back home, at that time. And Vishaka takes her home, away with that portrait. She says, come, I'll give you a remedy. And she takes her away and she shows the portrait. And then when Srimati Radharani goes and she sees the portrait, it even worsens all the more. So at that time, Mukhara sees that this girl, is it was also mentioned in the Vidagdha Madhava, it says that this girl has been acting crazy for a couple of days. So I'm guessing there is some time gap between the symptoms and then the next scene. You know what I mean? So then Mukhara sees that this girl is, mumbling all crazy stuff, like she's saying some bumblebee, and so many things, all those things. I didn't go into details of what all she says, like that. The other important verse I mentioned from Caitanya Caritamrta, where Mukhara explains to Paurnamasi the symptoms, like how she has gone crazy with, as though some ghost has gotten into her, like that. So she observes these things in Radharani, that she's having these ecstatic symptoms, and she's, and as soon as she sees the picture of Lord Krishna, actually what happens is Krishna comes out of the picture and they have some intimate pastimes. I am not discussing all that. So they have, and Radharani, she's not able to understand if this was a dream she had, or was it reality, or what's happening. She kind of goes, like, what's happening with me, because she's losing control of herself that way, So all this happens after she's brought home by Vishaka and shown the picture, So that time Mukhara sees that her daughter, granddaughter is kind of acting very funny. And that's when, Paurnamasi gets the news that something is wrong with Radharani, and she checks she tells Nandimukhi, go and check, go to Radharani's house and check what's happening. But as she's going out, Mukhara herself is, coming near Paurnamasi's house because she is worried something is wrong with my granddaughter. And I explained this earlier. I hope we are able to connect.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Mataji. Like I always say, when you give me some class, it's your potency which is in play. So I'm grateful to you for that.
Wonderful, Mataji. Wonderful class.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. I have one very basic question. I'm pretty new to the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. I just logged in today for my first class. When you talked about Sandipani Muni, Purnamasi, and Madhumangal, is it the same Sandipani Muni who becomes his guru later on?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, it's the
Krishna's?
same personality. Yeah.
Okay, so so he resided in that same Rajmandal or
No, actually, Purnamasi comes from Ujjain to this because like I said earlier, Purnamasi is always looking how to make Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani meet and to increase their sweetness of their pastime. She's always on the lookout. So he actually comes to Gokul to make this happen from Ujjain. But that's where he is. Sandip Muni is. So she comes here to make this sweet pastime happen.
I'm thinking very mundane terms, but that means Madhumangal is living away from his parents because he seems to be a part of Krishna's childhood in Vrindavan. So he doesn't live
Yeah,
with
it does
Sandipani
appear to
Muni,
be
I
that
guess.
way, Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm assuming Sandipani Muni might have had other sons because later on we know about a pastime where Krishna goes and gets his guru's dead son back from. So that would be a different son, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Do you
I'm
know?
sorry, I
Yeah.
don't know more info. Maybe other Matajis know about that pastime, but yeah, like I've heard this when Krishna goes to rescue his other son, this pastime, but I'm not sure which son that is, Mataji.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Preeti,
Krishna
do you know which
Sukhsagari
son that
Mataji.
is?
Hare Krishna Sukhsagari Mataji. Thank you so much for taking up this service and so wonderfully you explained the whole act, the two acts that you covered from the Madhava. Really grateful to you. Thank you so much. And
Thank you,
yes,
Mataji. It's all your blessings, Mataji.
Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. It's Guru's blessings and Prabhupada's blessings that is manifesting through you, Mataji. Thank you so much. And yes, as the other Mataji was asking, so it was Madhumangal, who was Sandeepa Muni's son. He was actually sent with Purnamashi to Gokul so that, he can take care of Purnamashi. And the other sons were different, whom Krishna rescued. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
for adding the detail. Thank you so much. Mataji, I hope you're okay, Mataji.
I'm not okay, Mataji, but I don't want to miss this class also, so I thought, okay, let me log in. But thank you, Mataji, for all your efforts. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. By the mercy of Acharya Giriraj Maharaj Mataji, you take us in a dham, Mataji. We are 0.0 in a bhakti, Mataji, but how nicely, and please forgive me, I made today one aparat that when you are so sincerely explaining Leela, Rupa Goswami's Leela, that time, Mataji, I feel that why Mataji is not explaining about Shidam Vrindavan Dham. Oh, Radhe, how nicely you explain the pastime and Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna, the changes of garland, cuckoo, and the Vishakha Sakis. How nicely she understand the expression, catch it, expression of um, Lord Krishna and the separation bhav of Srimati Radharani. Mataji, there is no words to your seva, Mataji. Trust me. How nicely you narrating today's class. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam to your sincere seva. Take us in a Brihat Bhagavatamba in Shidham Vrindavan Dham. It's Mataji. We can't explain in words what seva you are doing today, Mataji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. It's special mercy of Giriraj Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, our Guru Parampara, and your hard work, Mataji. It's touched to heart. Shidham Vrindavan Dham ki jai. श्रीमद भागवतम की जय, रूप गोस्वामी श्री रूप गोस्वामी की जय, श्रीमती राधा रानी और अष्ट सखी की जय, श्री धाम वृंदावन धाम बलसाना धाम की जय. Thank you, Mataji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam to your seva.
All grace to Guru Maharaj. Mataji, I think it's like they say, when somebody is giving a class, advanced devotees derive something else. Different level of devotees derive different things from the class. So I think you're at that platform that you're always absorbed in Vrindavan, and you're deriving so much pleasure, Mataji. So thank you so much for your kind encouragement, Mataji. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna Sukhsagari Mataji. Thank you so much for a beautiful, beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji, for always encouraging me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is there anybody having any questions for Mataji? Go ahead, Hare
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for a very beautiful and nectarian class, Mataji. I have a small question. I don't know if it's a good question. Mataji, you said that Purnamasi said that verse Tunde Tandavini to Nandi Mukhi. So who has actually composed it, like Rupa Goswami or?
This verse actually, is that's a good question, Mataji. I didn't think about it. This verse is actually spoken by even Sri Caitanya Caritamrta. If we recall, even in the Rath Yatra, right? He speaks this verse. So I'm just wondering who composed it. Sorry, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, it's been composed by Rupa Goswami only.
Oh, so but how did Chaitanya Charitamrita quote it before he wrote the drama?
Actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Rupa Goswami was asking that, write your introductory verse and then, what else you have composed, at that time, Rupa Goswami just narrate this verse. So it came before, but actually this verse is spoken, is composed by Rupa Goswami himself. And then hearing this verse, how, Haridas Thakur, he became ecstatic because he's the one who has really literally realized, the real meaning of Krishna, because he was chanting so many rounds being an Amacharya. So,
but isn't this also quoted in the Rath Yatra, Mataji? Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, doesn't he chant the same verse?
No, it's not. Rath Yatra pastime, Mahaprabhu pastimes, he just chanted that Yakumara, one, that Vetasi river, the banks of the, Reva river. At that time, Mahaprabhu was chanting that verse, which is a mundane verse written by Vishwanath in his, Sahitya Darpan. So he just chanted that verse, and then Rupa Goswami said and wrote another verse, and then he quoted this verse, Tunde Tandavini. But it is composed by Rupa Goswami himself.
For some reason, I don't know, Mataji, why I recall that this was the verse Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying in the Rath Yatra. And then, Rupa Goswami, to please him further, he quotes the other two verses, like the Vetasi tree and the Reva verse. I don't know, Mataji. I kind of got it sketchy there. It's going way back in the chapter, like, I don't know, 99 or 98 or something like that. References somewhere in the 80s. So, yeah, for some reason, I was thinking in that angle, Mataji. I don't know. Yeah, but I may have to revisit that. But thank you so much, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Sorry, Mataji, I'm not being of much help because this is, I think, kind of way back in the chapter. And I mean, though I read something and understood something, maybe there is more to it, Mataji. I'm so sorry about that.
No problem, Mataji. No problem. Thank you. No problem.
Mataji, you explained so nicely. So nicely, Mataji. Don't feel like that. So nicely that we feel that Giriraj Maharaj is given a class to us. That much nicely you explained, Leela, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji, for always encouraging and being so kind to me, Mataji. I just was trying to do what I could, Mataji. That's it.
Yeah,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Mataji. Sorry, Mataji, go ahead.
No problem. No, just wanted to add to what Vrinda Gopika Mataji said. Really, you explained the pastimes very beautifully, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. I'll go and look up that verse which you said. I'm not sure of the reference context, but I will go and read up, Mataji. If I find something, I will text you. What's your good name, Mataji?
I'm Vrinda.
Oh, Vrinda, Mataji. Sure, I will text you, Mataji.
Sure, Mataji. Sure,
Maybe
thank you.
Kirtida Mataji is right in what she's saying, but I'm not sure, Mataji, of the.
Maybe Mataji, I'm wrong, but you can just check and let us know.
Sure, Mataji, I will try to do, and please you also do, because you are doing so much in Caritamrta. I'm sure you know more than at least me in this context. So please, I would appreciate if you can help me out, Mataji. Yeah, whenever you find time, I know now you are busy with something else. So whenever you find time. But I will also try to look up how much I can, Mataji.
Sure, Mataji, thank you so much. And Mataji, please give your association again. I really liked your class.
Thank you, Mataji. With all your blessings, I will.
Mataji, you are singing so nicely. We know that. I know you are so tired, but still, whatever you want to sing. Mataji, please, for 2 minutes.
Sure, Mataji. What should I sing? I'm thinking. Preeti, any suggestions? She's my go-to for everything. She gives ideas to me. So.
As always, Sikshashtakam is my favorite.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one verse is okay.
At least 3, 4. Because you're in different tunes, right? So.
चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहा दावाग्निर्वापणं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनम् प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृता स्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम्.
Hari Bol, Mataji.
Literally crying out. Beautiful.
One more.
Why did you stop, Mataji? Why did you stop?
Please. One more. Please. Thank
Mataji,
you.
some more, please.
Yeah.
2 more.
Then 2 more and then 2 more.
We are so hungry.
नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिः तत्रार्पिता नियमितः स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी कृपा भगवन्महापि दुर्दैवमीदृशमिहाजनी नानुरागः तृणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरिव सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरिः न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि ईश्वरे भवताद् भक्तिः अहैतुकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनूज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजस्थितधूलि सदृशं विचिन्तय नयनं गलदश्रुधारय वदनं गद्गदरुद्धया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नामग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे आश्लिष्य वा पादरतां पिनष्टु मामदर्शनात् मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विददातु लम्पतः मत्प्राणनाथस्तु सैवनापरः मत्प्राणनाथस्तु सैवनापरः.
Hari Hari Gauranga, Jai Jai Nityananda, Jai Jai Gauranga, Mataji, you are Vrindavan Dham Gopi.
Thank you, Mataji, for beautiful singing.
Very beautiful, Mataji. I heard this tune first time. So beautiful.
Yeah, actually, I miss Sublakshmi has
Different
rendered
world,
it.
Mataji.
I copied it.
Blissful Mataji, as always.
Hare Krishna. Lakshmi Mataji, you were about to ask some question that time. Do you have any question?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, Mataji, I wanted to talk to Mataji. Mataji, the sequence was so well organized, Mataji. It was so informative. And also, I had some questions, Mataji. Mataji, you said this was the second act, like a Manmataleka love letter part. So, does this act end over here, Mataji, where you said they were overhearing the talk of Radharani? So, does the act finish over there?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me try to look up the note. Okay, act. You know, when I was telling Preeti earlier to the answer to some question she had regarding when Srimati Radharani is experiencing pain, and then she says that I need some medicine. I need some medicine. Let's go get some medicine. And then Vishaka enters and then says, I have a medicine. Come, I'll show you. And she's actually having a portrait of Krishna. And then they exit. So that time, the act 1 ends there. Okay, and the act 2 actually starts with Purnamasi telling Nandimukhi that go and inquire from Mukhara. I heard that Radharani is ill or something. I'm hearing this news, so why don't you go check what's happening to Radharani? That's where act 2 begins, the Manmatha Lekha love letter act.
Okay, Mataji. And one more thing, Mataji, you said like Paurnamasi was distributing like laddu to Madhumangal. So is that on that very particular day that Radharani and Abhimanyu was married? Was their wedding day on that day?
No, Mataji, there is no reference to that. Actually, Purnamasi, she instructs Nandimukhi to, have Vishaka make a portrait, because, Nandimukhi wanted to do some seva too, in making this meeting happen between Lord Krishna and Radharani. So she says, Madhumangal is always with Krishna and I'm not there with doing any seva. So that time Purnamasi says, why don't you go and tell Vishaka to make a nice portrait? And then she says, let me make some laddus and, take this opportunity and go and give this to the Gopas. And that time I will mention the name of Radha there. So Krishna also will go into ecstasy. So she says like that, that, she tells Nandimukhi to go to Vishakha, and then she says, let me go make some laddus and take it to the Gopas. And somehow, she wants to take the opportunity to mention Srimati Radharani's name to Lord Krishna.
Okay,
Yeah, but there
Mataji.
is no
So,
preference of marriage on that day or like that, Mataji. From what the drama, from the other verses, what I figured was the marriage had happened, and Srimati Radharani had, she was hiding in the Shantanu Vana, and then Mukhara thinks it's a good idea to get them married, get her married, so that Kamsa now understands that she's married and he would not harm her too much, something like that.
okay, Mataji. So that was just she was taking an opportunity to go and talk to Krishna. And
Yeah.
Mataji, and one more question, Mataji, the basic question which always comes, why did Radharani didn't marry Krishna when she's in so much of love? So as you mentioned, it was only to protect her from Kamsa that she was married to Abhimanyu, or is there some other reason behind it, since she was in so much love?
Big philosophical question, Mataji. This drama, there is one mention, this Purnamasi is trying to explain it in this way. There are like 100 of reasons there, like actually it is mentioned that they are eternally, married in one sense. And there is also a parakya bhav mentioned like that. So there are so many interpretations given by the acharyas. It's a very big philosophical topic, Mataji, the marriage of Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna. We do have references by acharyas that they are actually already married, and then, but then there is also this parakya bhav which comes into play. So this is a very, very high level topic of answer. I'm not sure but maybe the other senior Matajis can give better answers, Mataji. But yeah, there is mention that they are eternally married, and like the marriage happened earlier during some other pastime like that. And so this is, like I said, a big philosophical topic, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, no problem. And one more question, Mataji, regarding the husband Abhimanyu. So like once I heard in one of the lecture that he was the shadow of Krishna. So is there any mentioning about this particular person, Abhimanyu? Something, a brief discussion.
Yeah, Mataji, not particularly in this drama. There is not many details because, like I said, the idea is to get Radharani and Lord Krishna together to meet. So Abhimanyu is portrayed pretty much like a villain there. Because Abhimanyu, he actually, when he hears that Srimati Radharani is so attracted to Lord Krishna, he is making plans to take Srimati Radharani away to Mathura. He kind of gets suspicious of Srimati Radharani's predicament, because as soon as she hears the name, and she kind of, Radharani is lost in a trance, So he observes this, and Purnamasi knows that, he wants to take her away to Mathura. So he's kind of like a villain in this, at least the first two acts of the drama. So Purnamasi is trying somehow hard, to make sure that this does not happen, and Radha and Krishna do meet, that somehow Radharani does not go away to Mathura. That is the context given in this play, Mataji. In the first two acts, like I've not gone beyond the second act, but the first two acts, this is the context, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, I too here and there have heard about Abhimanyu where he doesn't like when Radharani goes and meets Krishna in the Surya temple. So just curious to know about the character Abhimanyu. And finally, Mataji. Yes, Mataji,
also, like, there are some mentions of Jatila and Kutila, like the mother-in-law and sister-in-law, like that, like how they're also not very happy. Like, if you see, I also mentioned about that, like when, what's it? When Purnamasi says that the remedy, when Mukhara runs to Purnamasi and says that, this Radharani's experience, she's behaving like a very crazy woman, and she's mouthing so many things which are incoherent and things like that. So Purnamasi says that the only solution for this is for them to meet, At that time, also, if you remember, I mentioned that, like it's mentioned in the play, that, immediately Mukhara, so what will Jatila think of this, So then Purnamasi says, don't worry, I'll take care of her, like that, So yeah, I mean, yeah, for some reason, yeah, they're kind of in that mood, of not making this happen, but it's, I think, just adding up to the actual mood of separation between Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani.
Yes, Mataji. So in a story, when there is a negative part or a villain who is stopping this, the story gets more interesting. So like they are playing that part, like Jatila, Kutila, and Abhimanyu there in that role. Only that the play gets interesting, Yeah, Mataji, and one more question, Mataji. You said that Vishaka Saki, she was giving the Kunjamala to Krishna and Krishna returned it back. So now I have a doubt, did he return the same Kunjamala that the Rani gave, or was his own mala? That's something he
No,
gave.
he's the one which she gave. He says that, what is this? Some dried shells you're giving. He's trying to insult them, because he knows that they will convey this message to Radharani and she will feel more bad, right? I mean, she'll feel even worse. So he knows he wants to hurt her, That's why when Radharani says, like there is this verse which is a reference of a snake and this and that, like, because that is the kind nature of this love. Like he's trying to hurt her, like that, but that actually gives more pleasure in the relationship, like that. So yeah, he gives out the same kunjamala, which he returns it back. He says, I don't need this, take it away, like that.
Yes, Mataji, but it's so fortunate he just wear it at least for a second and gave back to Radharani. And as you said, mentioned, Mataji, yeah, it's right. It will be hurting so much for Radharani because she sent it with so much of love. So the way Krishna reacts before you mentioning that part, we were expecting like Krishna will be so excited to receive the letter and the mala. But reaction of Krishna is entirely different. That makes it so curious to us to know why did Krishna do like that. And it was so fantastic. Thank you so much, Mataji. You did a very wonderful seva for us today. And thank you for every Matajis and everybody who is having so much mercy on us. So you're reading and like enlightening us. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mata. Hare Krishna. All goes to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Yeah, it's funny, Krishna reacted that way. Even I was thinking, it's so sad, right? I mean, Radharani literally poured her heart and then Preeti?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Mataji, everybody is observed in Leela. Nobody wants to go. रुआंटे खड़े हो गए माताजी आज इतनी अच्छी लीला थी.
Thank you, Mataji, for your kind association. Vinita Mataji or Preeti Mataji, what do you think we should do next, Mataji?
If there is no more question, we can end the call, Mataji. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the beautiful class. Now sing Vanchakalpa. Slow. Vanchakalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhuvya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Ananta Godi Vaishnavinda ki jai Namacharya Hiladas Thakur ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Her Grace Sukha Sagara Mataji ki jai.
Sagari Gopi ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji, so much. Hare Krishna. I'm indebted to you for all your kindness and blessings. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank